Welcome to Karaoke Wine with Jules and Tessa.
Welcome
to
Karaoke Wine.
Yeah, we are... Actually, I like this topic, but before
we do that, because we stopped doing this, but we need to do it for this one. We are reaching number 10 today.
Double digit. I'm so excited.
And per usual, we have Briosa.
Thank you.
Thank you
for sponsoring this episode. We appreciate you guys. And obviously, you guys know you have to be 21 and older to drink this wine seltzer. So,
oh yeah, disclaimer.
We are clearly over 21.
We are?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Right.
Cheers
to number 10.
Number 10. Yeah. Next to our teenage years.
Yes. So this episode, good, right?
Yeah. So refreshing after this. All the days.
All the days. So this episode, we're actually talking about feminist versus
feminism.
Yes. And sometimes they are the same.
Yes.
But in this case, they're completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
I think too, because we looked up the actual definition, right? And I think it was very interesting for me to hear the 4 foundational pieces of feminism, right?
Yes.
And we agreed with them because I do consider myself a feminist in certain areas, because Jules and I have had this conversation before, and I think that feminism in general has become a little bit extreme.
A
little bit. And there are obviously women values that we agree upon. There's other extremists out there. However, I would like to go over the 4 pillars of what feminism actually is, or being a feminist
Being a feminist is what they said. So a feminist is an advocate of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes, a person who supports feminism.
Right.
But there are 4 traditional principles to the feminist movement: increase equality, expanding human choice, ending sexual violence, and promoting sexual freedom. And by, you guys know, by the 10th episode, you know I'm all about not promoting sexual freedom. Yeah, I promote it. I'm like, do whatever you want. Yeah.
Just be in your decision. Own your decision.
Own your shit.
So
yes,
when her and I actually looked this up, we're like, wait, we agree.
We are feminists.
Yeah, we are.
Based on these principles.
Absolutely. Because I think it just speaks to having human rights is all it's asking for. Right?
Yes.
Just equal. The biggest thing is like no more sexual violence, and that is unwanted sexual advances, just to clarify for those listening to the podcast.
But I think that the feminist movement has also come into the modern dating world.
Absolutely.
And we are products of the feminist movement, because growing up, I was told, like, you are going to college, then after college, you get a good job, then you meet your person, then you get married, then you have babies. Like, it was like a whole thing.
Right.
I believe that was good for me. I also grew up with a single mom that had 3 kids, and she literally did it all by herself. And I still to this day look back and I'm like, I have no idea how she did it, because I'm a single female.
Yeah.
I'm independent. I pay for everything myself. I can't imagine taking care of a kid right now. So
I agree with that. I think that, am I capable? Absolutely. Do I want to? Probably not. We all learned in the last episode, there's a lot of me focus right now. And in the 36 years I've been alive, weird.
Yeah.
I also think that there is an aspect of going back to, we are a product of the feminist movement, right? And I think we were raised by women who, not that they didn't have a choice, but they were actually forced either into marriage is too young. They didn't have the ability to go to work and make a sustainable income. So there wasn't really a lot of contribution financially from a paycheck. So staying at home really just made more sense, right? But as we continue to grow as a society, especially now when I know how much childcare is, because we've got a lot of babies in our lives.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
It's expensive.
It is like, if you
more expensive than I am.
100%. If you make $60,000 a year as a working spouse, you might as well stay home and take care of the kids, because that's how much childcare is now.
Yeah.
And that's for just like dropping them off and saying, good luck with this one. Going on with how we were raised. I'm one of 3 girls that was raised by both my parents, and my mom and my dad were always, make sure you can take care of yourself in any scenario before you get in a relationship.
Yes.
If you are unable to take care of yourself and walk away from, if like you're leaning on somebody to fulfill some financial burden in your life, then you are always going to feel trapped.
Yes.
So
did you see that video with Goldie Hawn? I think she was on Oprah like a few years ago. And she was saying that the one thing that women should do, and I think even Judge Judy said the same thing. The one thing that women always need to have is financial independence.
Correct.
Because you never want to make decisions on your life based on whether or not this guy can pay for a bill or take care of you in any capacity. And this mindset saved my little booty.
Yeah.
Because when I met Arthur, I was still in college, and he was never the guy to be like, hey, baby, I'll take care of everything. He really wasn't. He was like, no, I love this. Be independent, learn the way of life, pay your dues in society. And it made me a stronger person, 1. And 2, when I did leave, I had savings in the bank. I was able to quit my job, knowing that I was always going to have the ability to get another job.
Yeah.
I can always rely on my brain. And my dad said this growing up was, you might be like beautiful now, but you get older and things change.
Yeah.
But your education and your brain is the most expensive thing that you will ever own.
Wasn't it Salma Hayek?
Yes.
We love her. When they're like, there was like, oh my God, what's the most expensive thing you're wearing? And she's like, my brain.
And it's true.
It's so true.
It's so true.
And you have to. And I would be really wary, just because like this has happened to me before. When you're early on in a relationship, if somebody is sweeping you off your feet and offering to sustain your expenses or take care of you financially so you don't have to work, I feel like that is more a control, like almost like a chess move, right? Like it's flattering you with love. Not to say it happens with everybody. I'm just talking about my own experiences. But it was that belief that my parents told me, you can do anything that you want and never rely, and not just men, nobody. At the end of the day, you only have yourself to answer to. And if you are in a financial pickle, it's because you're there. Not because somebody got you there. You know, we've had friends who unfortunately lost so much because their husbands ran up their credit cards. You know what I mean? Because they were married and then they go through a divorce and they're stuck with the bill, right? And husbands out. Like,
you even see that on the Housewives of, a couple.
That was the friend I was talking about.
Oh, you're friends with them? I didn't know. I did not know.
Real Housewife over here.
No, when you say like, oh, I didn't know, I just signed a paper. Oh, I didn't know, like there was like this bank account. You need to know everything. Everything. If your name's on it, you need to know. And I'm like a full believer of just like, if I don't know it, I'm not signing it.
100%.
If I'm on that LLC, you're going to get that tax bill.
Yeah.
You.
100%.
I got a tax bill because I was on the LLC with my ex, and I got this tax bill at the end of the year, and we were just broken up, and I called him crying, and I was like, oh my God, I don't have this. And he's like, don't worry. I got it. Yeah. Like, I'll pay for it. Like, you don't have to worry. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you.
So seriously, thank you. We love you, obviously. Yeah. I also think it's something to say with wanting to be independent. going back to like how the traditional woman before feminism like really took off, right? There was a control aspect about the man only bringing home the paycheck, right? And that was created tension because it was, I put food on the table, I put a roof over our heads. Like, you're not allowed to have an opinion. So I think now in our age or this modern dating it's not so much about the control anymore. It's about the partnership and contributing.
And the respect.
Yeah, the respect to the traditional values, being equal partners. I cook dinner, you do the dishes. I fill the trash, you take it out, right?
Yeah.
I do the laundry, you help me make the bed. Like it's a collective effort because now we've transitioned into women being successful and actually being a participant in how the money is handled and what is coming in as income. And I think it's something to be said that you have to find somebody, right? And I know we've talked about this earlier, but we obviously talk from a comedic effect that we're like single and all of these things have happened to us. And really the truth was, is we just hadn't found our person yet and we weren't their person either. So it just didn't work. So when you're looking at this dynamic of societal structures,
Yes.
right? We are traditionalists. Like I would love for somebody to make decisions for me sometimes, for us sometimes, right? I make decisions all the time and I make hard decisions. And I always think of that moment in Sex and the City when Samantha gets sick. And she's crying. The first time she ever wanted a man because like she's calling all these guys that like she's obviously
random
slept with. And they're not coming over to help her. And she's like, I'm gonna die alone. Like I'm done getting that sick and feeling that way.
I think I mean it's true. I think I'm a traditionalist in the fact that I respect and I love the roles in which a man can lead and provide for the family. But I want my own money. Like I want to be able to like, you know, pay for things that are for myself, like my upkeep or whatever. I want that for myself. If I want to go to dinner with my girlfriends, I don't have to ask my husband like, hey.
Right. The control. You need the partnership. So you should contribute.
Yeah. And I think also in like the 40s, 30s, whatever, when the housewives, like that's their role.
Right.
I think there was a lack of respect. Now I'm saying I think because I obviously wasn't living during that time. Right. But you have to respect the role that each person plays in the relationship, knowing that they are equal.
Right.
My husband is working and making all the money and I'm staying home taking care of the kids. He has to respect me in the way that I am the CEO of the household.
Yes. Cheers to that, bitch.
Yes.
CEO.
CEO of the household and of the kids. Now, when you get home, you're tired because you have been working all day making decisions. I am equally as tired because taking care of a household
is exhausting. Yeah. You know, it's actually interesting now that you bring this up, and I've never made this correlation before, but the patience that you have to have with children is very much like being a leader in corporate America. You have to have patience with so many different personalities. You can't just freak the fuck out and be like, oh my God, Steve, shut the fuck up. Right?
Could you imagine?
I mean,
yelling at your kid like that? You would be sent to like, what is it? DFS, DCS, whatever it's called.
So it's like the same. It's emotionally exhausting. Like sorry, get distracted. But it is like everybody's tired. And I think that's why it's important to have open communication in relationships and who owns what. And if you need support and need help somewhere, it's not a resentment that you're doing something that they're not doing. It's okay. Here's how we get to where we're going. Who wants to own what piece of the pie?
The pizza pie.
I think it's just, and that's really what it is because I don't know. I also think we talked about this, like society has made it way too easy to walk away from relationships instead of working. Yeah. And I think that there's an aspect of people just don't know anymore how to work through the hard because everybody's healing so much and everybody's on their own journey. So everybody's me focused. When you are in a marriage, you are a unit. You're an us focus. And I think that there always needs to be a pause to recognize, okay, we got into this for a specific reason. We wanted to do this together. Are we going to fix what's broken? Are we going to move through it? Are we going to build something bigger and better? Or is it just time to walk away from each other? Because X, Y, and we've become completely different people, which, by the way, there was a meme. This guy was married to his wife since they were 20 until they're like 90 years old. And somebody asked the question, like,
well, how did you work it out, survive?
Yeah. And she's like,
what did they say?
he was like, I literally was married to 5 different women.
Oh, like she had like
because she
multiple personalities.
Yeah, not multiple personalities. No, but throughout her life, she grew into somebody
she
else.
Evolved. Yeah, I get that.
So each chapter was a new adventure to him. I mean, not to say that there weren't hard times. I guarantee there were. But from his perspective as a 90-year-old man to say, we stuck it out.
But that is so cool.
Listen, my parents have been together for 38 years now.
Yeah.
And trust me, growing up being a child, right, being their child, I thought many times that they should have just been divorced. Now that I am older and I recognize my parents as humans, I understand what it took for them to work through everything. And I admire them for that because they didn't give up.
Well, I will say this though, because I'm a big advocate of if you are miserable.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Leave.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't believe in like staying in a marriage just for the kids. I do believe in happy co-parenting is better for the kids than being in a miserable relationship and trying to work it out. And I have many friends that are great co-parenting people. And the kids are so happy and they just can't imagine their life being any different.
Right. But that takes strength too, to recognize we are never going to be happy or healthy together. And we want to be a representation of healthy relationships for our kids.
Yeah.
My parents, they're just fucking crazy. Love that. I mean, where do you think I came from?
I mean, the DNA matches. I get it.
The apple did not fall far, guys.
Yeah. I mean, my parents, they were not good for each other, but they had me and my brother. So I'm glad they worked out for as long as they did. But being separated or not together, it's obviously, we're a better family for it.
Right. 100%. I think the one thing that happened with my parents that made me, as I grew older and actually experienced relationships and now understand looking back as an adult, is no matter how hard things got, and trust me, like it got hard for them in their relationship, they always ended it in laughter. Like they always got to the point of laughter. And I think that's so important because you chose to spend the rest of your life with this person. They're going to get on your nerves.
Oh, 100%.
And I think that if you can get through, the tiffs or the blowout fights and laugh at the end of it, they're still like children.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous. I'm like,
I do.
Teenagers.
I think also, and the divorce rate is super high now. And it is easier to get a divorce. Let's be very real.
Yeah.
I've never been married, nor have I never been divorced. But when I do get married, I do not plan on getting a divorce. I plan on it being for the rest of my life.
Agreed.
I'm also a very big loyal partner.
Yeah.
And I do everything I can before, if I walk away, I have done everything.
Agreed.
And it just did not work out. But I'm going into that relationship thinking that's not even an option on the table.
No. If I have a ring on my finger and if I sign that piece of paper, like it is for sure happening.
Yeah.
And you're good at getting rid of me. I'll find you. Not happening.
But going back to the feminist part, we are both feminists and we have the right to choose. I mean, I think that's what feminism is. Well, it's the right to choose like how you want to live your life as a female.
Right.
I would love to, like, when I have a baby, I would love to not work for 2 years and then go back.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a conversation you have to have with your partner or your husband or girlfriend or whoever you are with.
Yeah.
Having a family. You have to have that conversation way in advance of, like, this is how I see my family looking like. This is how I want to live in 5-10 years. And it's like an interview. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Well, Joe, like, glad you asked.
Let me pull out my chart real quick.
Glad you asked. In 10 years, I want to be married. I want to have this. And then they're like, okay, well, that's actually what I want too. Great.
Right.
You get that second date.
Actually, I love that you're saying this. And I know I keep referencing like memes on social media, but I read this thing today where she had a notification pop up that there was a wedding and she was like trying to figure out which wedding it was.
Oh my God, was it hers?
It was an alarm she set 5 years earlier thinking that's when she would be married without a partner. And she was like, it's my wedding. I'm missing my own fucking wedding.
That's really funny. And actually it's not, it's funny and it's sad, but it's not sad because you're just like, you remind yourself, or like, oh, maybe it's going to happen. And do I still want that? Maybe you don't want to get married at all. I don't know. But the opposite of the feminist movement, I think for me, went a little overboard.
100%.
When it became all about bashing the men and toxic masculinity and this is not to say that toxic masculinity is not a thing. It is. But
it's not a generalization though.
No. And
males.
No.
Yeah.
And I think that we're pretty equal to men.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't have any problem with my life.
We grew up with,
but I'm not bashing men because I love men.
No.
Like, I need them in my life.
Stay with me. We also grew up in the, like, anything you can do, I can do better. Like, girls wanted to be with the boys. They wanted to, like, oh, you want to play football? I'll show you I can play football. Like, also, that's an exact memory coming out of my brain because I was her. That was me. And I think when we're talking about the extreme feminism and we're talking about a traditional man, there's also the extremist of the traditional man per se.
Yeah. The toxic masculinity.
Yeah. Like the
thing.
Incels or
whatever they don't
they
respect women. They don't like women. They think that women are below them. That's a whole thing too.
But not all men are like that.
No, you always have two, the pendulum swings both ways. And like, I feel like I'm right in the middle. I love being in my feminine.
Yes.
I love being in my feminine.
Me
like
too.
if I have a strong alpha sigma male, I will turn into like a little girl. I'll just be like, I'll do whatever you say. But when I go to work, I'm kind of the same thing. But I get shit done. And it was funny. Like I had to do something for work today and I got exactly what I wanted. And people were like, how do you do that? And I was
She's
like,
a magician. That's how.
No, but I was like, you get more with honey than you do with shit. And that's me. Like, I'm just super nice to everyone. And they just are like, let me just give it to you. And I'm like, thank you. Was that hard?
No. And I think it's asking too. You just have to ask the question. I love feeling like I can trust somebody to take care of me. And it hasn't happened very often. But what happens to me is I sleep. If I can sleep at a person's house.
I remember you saying this.
Yes. And it's interesting because even with my friends, initially in the beginning, like I trust them enough, right? But it takes me a minute to get used to it. So I would take like a melatonin or something. I'll know that I'm with the right person if I can just fall asleep next to them immediately.
Interesting.
Because I'm really uncomfortable in places that I don't know an exit, or I don't have a game plan, or I don't have a strategy to GTFO, because I am a runner by nature. Not just like a runner. I am that too, but like I am like,
she's the runaway bride.
I am. Don't even know what fucking kind of egg. I talked with my therapist about that the other day. I was like, I don't even know what kind of food I like. She's like, what kind of eggs do you like? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you are literally Julia Roberts in Runaway Bride.
But it's one of those things where women naturally are in fight and flight now because we have to be the protector of ourselves now. And I want to put it into perspective. I drove from Austin to Fort Lauderdale and by myself. And before I left, I had to map out everywhere where I was going to be stopping. I had to make sure it was a highly populated area. I only drove during the day. I bought a stun gun. I bought brass knuckles, but it looked like a little dog head. So when I walked to and from my car, and mace. And I think that it's something to be said that if a man were to do that same trip, motherfucker would do it in one day. But I couldn't be on the road at night in case my tire blew out. It was unsafe for me. And like, I'm a scrappy girl, but I'm lethal.
Yeah, I mean, I always say the biggest predator to us is men.
Yeah.
And it's just
all
true.
Men, but
no,
like,
but not all men, but just I'm generalizing because when you walk to your car, you have the keys in between your fingers and you see a man walking behind you, you get on the phone with your girlfriend and you're talking or like, you know, just little things like that. It's just facts. It's just how we grew up and that's how we live today. And there are bad people.
Yeah.
There are bad people.
I actually want to add something to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I just watched The Serpent on Netflix. Have you watched it?
God, a long time ago.
Oh, I just watched it. It's so good. I actually think the biggest threat to women are other women that do things for bad men because we trust them and we get ourselves like,
okay. Yeah. I know.
What's it? Epstein.
Yes.
You know
Ghislaine. Yes. No, she's the worst.
Yeah. So like, women naturally trust other women. And in these two situations we're talking about, these two women were predators to other women for the men that they were together with.
Yeah,
or
that
in partnership with.
Ghislaine Maxwell is not a feminist.
No.
At all.
She is the sexual predator.
Yes.
That we are anti.
She's not it. But it was really funny what you said about like it takes a lot for a guy to, you know, you feel safe with them.
Yeah.
I mentioned this on the last episode that I met someone and we've been talking and I don't really want to talk about him or the relationship because it's so new and I don't want to jinx it because I do like him.
Yeah.
But in talking, he asked, he just like was asking me questions and
he was getting to know her, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. He was getting to know me.
Yeah.
And I said to him that my one weakness will be trusting a man with my peace.
Yeah.
And it took me a moment because I didn't even think about it for myself for so long. But it is true. Like I have been independent for 5 years, doing everything by myself. And I love it. I'm having the best time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually getting back into a relationship and relinquishing some of that, it's kind of freaking me out. Not to say that I don't want to do it. I would love to do it with the right person.
Yeah.
But I had to come to like Jesus on that one and tell him it was a weakness.
But it's so true because here's the thing. Any type of relationship is hard because you have to put effort into it, even if it's seamless. I do not think that romantic relationships have to be hard work. There is a difference.
Yeah.
If you are in a partnership, like when we get into committed relationships, we have been single and sustainable by ourselves.
But I'm not competing with you.
We're not competing.
There's no power struggle.
No,
I know where we stand.
We're not going to do that. But what I'm saying is it's going to take me like a hot second to get used to anyone doing anything for me.
Yeah.
Like realistically, like.
And that's the feminist in us, guys.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that I don't want to be the feminine.
Oh,
and I even sent him the meme and it said, so many single women have been independent for so long, but that is not to say that she or I are not hopeless romantics. They just don't want to get hurt. And I sent it to him. And I was like, this is the perfect description of who I am.
Okay, so actually what's interesting.
Oh, God.
This is going to be fun because I bet people didn't realize it's about us. I am an all-in type of person immediately, and I'm just like, fuck it if I get hurt. Like, I have been hurt so many times, but I am a hopeless romantic. I will jump in and I will do it 100% time over. Like, I love that moment, and one day it's going to stick. Jules and I were actually talking about this the other day because we're in our meat eras.
Yeah.
Which we're going to continue to do, by the way.
Yes.
And it came up with the internal struggle of setting such a hard boundary that she's in her me era and only her me era.
Yeah.
And
I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.
Yes. And she mentioned,
because you saw me.
Yeah.
You get me.
Yeah, I do get you.
Yeah.
And she started to do what all of us girls do. And it's like, yeah, but. And I was like, okay, listen to me right now.
We overthink.
Yes.
And we try to talk ourselves out of things or make us think that we're thinking something else, but we're really not.
Right. So I told her to take a step back, take a deep breath. In this moment, it's really good and that she should enjoy it because that's part of her me era, allowing herself to be loved.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going to happen. As she mentioned earlier, this is still very new. Okay.
We're not even dating.
Yeah, they're not even dating.
We're just getting to know each other, period.
Which is super sweet in my eyes.
And I told him, I said, I'm in my me era, you're in your me era, but that's not to say like down the road. And I told him baby steps, like big baby steps.
And you know what he said to that? I'm on your time. It's okay.
Yes, he did. He was like, big baby steps. I respect your boundaries whenever you want to like.
And that is a gentleman.
Yeah.
Because women by nature overthink things because we have to. Okay? We have to assess all the areas. Where's the exit? Like I said earlier.
Yes.
Like, am I safe? That's like our very first question to ourselves. If you make me feel safe, honestly, I don't know what I would do.
I mean, this guy is like 6'5".
Yeah.
He's like a Viking.
But I mean like emotionally.
No, I know. I know what you mean.
No, I know. But like.
He's like physically safe.
Sorry.
Oh my God. Stop.
He's whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Anyway.
No, but to that point, like being safe and in your feminine, I'm meeting him for a show.
Yeah.
And he said a long time ago, he was like, if this was a date, I would be picking you up. But it's not a date. We're going just as friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
I was going to drive by myself anyway, date or not date.
Yeah.
That's what I said in my mind.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
A couple days ago, I said, I'm breaking my own rule, but can I make this a date? And he was like, what's your address? What time do I need to pick you up? And I was like, no, you don't have to pick me up. I'm going to take an Uber. He's like, no, let me lead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the man. What's your address and what time? And I was like,
talk about
yes, sir.
Cues.
I was like,
I have chills. Literally. PQs.
He was like, it's a date. So this is how I treat my women on dates. And I was like, I like winning.
And it is. And that's how it should be. Like, I feel like, unfortunately, on both sides, men and women who want traditional things, one, there's too many options. People are just doing too much. Two, they're too me focused, right? Yeah. I think there's this idea that you have to be 100% healed, 100% financially secure, 100% understand where you want to go in your life. And I truly used to think that. I think recently, honestly, in the last couple of months, I've transitioned to being more present in the moment versus past projecting or future tripping. I just like stopped doing it because I'm like, I am missing out on my life.
Yeah.
And now that I'm more present in the moment, we love our life. I love my life.
I love my life.
But there was a part of me for a very long time that was extremely insecure and did not feel that I deserved love. So now it's looking different for me, and I'm
Mhm.
okay now that it's going to happen when it happens, but I'm going to enjoy my life. We're
Yeah.
going to live our lives. And if and when we meet a partner, then yeah, maybe things will have to be adjusted, but we're not walking away from the life that we've built.
No.
It might look different, but it's not.
It
like,
evolves.
No. Yeah.
And it might look different, but inherently, intrinsically, this is who I am. Like, I love having my own aspect of my own life.
Yeah.
And then you build it with your partner. And I don't think that I will ever be the person to walk away from my corporate life.
No.
I just love having my own money.
Yeah.
I love my independence.
Mhm.
Now that doesn't mean I'm going to be paying for the trips, y'all. Like, no. I'm just going to be paying for my hair, my nails, my car, like whatever, all the things. But there are certain things that I just, in my mind, the provider provides certain aspects in the relationship.
Well, I also think too, it depends on.
And that comes from like the hunter-gatherer, like the caveman eras.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And we talked about this earlier, but I also
Bring home the bacon. Show me the money.
We'll make the salad. Takes a village. Where do you think that came from? Because all the women were passing those babies around. Like not one person raised kids. That's why a housewife is so challenging.
That's why all the moms have their aunties.
Yes.
Like, hello.
We're both Aunt Juju, Aunt Tata.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Oh my God, we should do a one with our kids. Anyway, to wrap this all up, I think that women's societal structure has shifted quite a bit. I think that when you say you are a feminist, if you were born with a vagina, you should be 100%. Based on those 4 principles.
Yes.
Right? I also think
making choices for your own body. Check.
Yes.
No more sexual violence. Check. What else was there?
Equality.
Check. And then promoting sexual freedom.
Oh,
check.
And
if you want to be a housewife,
do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a corporate fucking badass, do it.
See,
if you want a little bit of both,
do it.
Do it. I just don't see what's the problem. Do whatever you want.
I think social media we love. Obviously, we get to do this podcast and stream it to over 100 people now. Had to put it there.
Right.
Double digits and triple digits.
Oh my God.
We're just getting the digits over here.
Go.
I think that it's important to remember that you just have to live your life.
Yeah.
You just have to be that person, and do not believe everything per our last conversation that is on social media.
It's such a corporate thing to say.
I know.
Or my last email.
Per our last episode. We're going to circle back to that real quick. Those KPIs just really aren't performing right now.
Oh my God.
Tell me you're corporate without telling me you're corporate. Hey, do you mind if we sit down? Okay, never mind. We're not going to go that tangent.
No, it's actually funny because when I text people and I'm in like work mode,
I'm like,
I'm literally texting. I'm like literally texting like in a very work mode text. And they're like, hello, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm sorry. It's just like, it's 7 a.m. And I'm like, you're part of my emails.
My sister calls it my customer service voice when I try to de-escalate an argument. She's like, stop talking to your fucking customer service voice. Because I'm like, so what were your thoughts behind it?
Oh my God, I would die.
Take me back to what you were thinking.
Could you imagine being in a relationship and be like, per our last conversation, I would die. I'd be like, dude, let's be real.
We all know that's not how I really talk in real life. You guys
absolutely
really
not.
See how I talk in real life. This is an aspect of it.
But I do want to say, like, my mom, she was a total badass.
100%.
Single mom, working her little tush off, 3 kids.
Yeah.
All 3 kids went through college, and like she filled out all the paperwork for us, financial aid, all the things. I can't imagine me getting through college without my mom. Like, it was just a thing. Like, God bless.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't go to college.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were taught to work. and make money. Yeah, that's our family dynamic. Both of my sisters.
And you're a
FYI,
badass. Like, I'm not saying you have to go to college. It just was my structure in my family. Like, that's what you did.
Right. And I think that is something to say. Your family had a deep military background as well. And I think that really contributed to it because having an education and being a part of the military was kind of went hand in hand.
Yeah.
Where my mom rebelled against everything that her family told her to do, who was also a military family. And then my dad grew up in a very large Irish Catholic family that was, oh, you're 16, get out of our house. So very different dynamic.
But that's why you're so strong.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
You are defiant. You always ask questions about why, how, what, where, when.
Yeah, very inquisitive.
Yeah.
I'm very protector, like, for everybody as well.
I think for sure we are the product of our families.
100%.
I come from an Italian background, Sicilian, and you come from Irish, and they're big on loyalty and family structures. Yeah. So that is one. And then we're a product of the feminist movement. Yeah. We are loud in how we think. We have a podcast, for crying out loud. Like, so we have an opinion. Whether, you know, like, we're going to say what we're going to say, and we're going to do what we want to do.
Yeah. And if you don't like it, 103 people do, according to YouTube.
I love you.
But
she beat me to it.
I actually wanted you to mouth it when I said it. In order to experience
all the things.
All the things.
What do we got to do? Carpe diem, bitches. Love you.
I love you more.
Feminist or feminine? I'm a little bit of both.
I mean, girl, look at this hair. You can't be not feminine without it.
Yeah, but you can't be a feminist without that. You have to pay for this highlight. That's expensive.
Face.
I know, great Botox. I know.
Oh my God, I'm
love that.
26 years old. Look at that camera.
I know, it's not even moving.
Thank you for watching this episode of Karaoke Wine. Please like and subscribe.